What's up, everybody? We got a great show tonight. We are doing our 2024 edition of the I Hate division previews. If you've been with the show for a while, you know I personally, as a content creator and as a content consumer, do not like division previews. So we have found a way to make them a little more interesting, a little bit more fun for us to do them, and hopefully a little bit more fun for you to watch them. We're basically going to be doing mock drafts tonight. We're going to be doing the AFC and the NFC East, and the caveat is you can only draft players from those divisions. We got two great guests coming on tonight to join us. So let's go ahead and get things rolling here.
Going for two, kickers are extra, I give them the boot. Ooh, going for two, sit back, relax while I grab me a brew. Ooh, now I'm reclining while putting my time and I'm ready to go. My spine is aligning and much my lineups, my bank account grow. I am so rich, but knowledge is all that I'm leaving it with. Ooh, listen to this, multiple options, how far can I get? Ooh, DFS Dynasty redraft tonight, I'm not finishing last. I'm finishing past any and all I am looking to last. What else? This spot is popping and I am so locked in and only opening the door when it is opportunity knocking. And all of these spots keep on talking and talking. So what are we talking? What kind of alignment? And running it deep, even players forgotten or came from the bottom or hitting that top end. And this spot is popping, yeah, this spot is popping. And woo! This is the Armchair, yeah. Put up your arms, yeah. Sound the alarm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo!
Welcome, everybody, to the Armchair. It is episode 380. Of course, we are here live every Wednesday night. We're on Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, syndicated in all major podcast networks, and of course, we're on the Going for Two Live network. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Ryan Searfoss, which we'll be calling him Foss tonight because we got two Ryans on the show. So, Foss, how you doing tonight?
Oh, good, man. It's gonna be confusing. I can't wait to see how many things you mess up with it.
I just need to call you Foss all the time, and then it won't be as weird.
Dude, normally I just get called out when I'm drunk, but yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Well,
It's like my alter ego. It's all
so
right.
you're drunk, about half the time on the show anyway, right? So it wouldn't be that much of a stretch.
Very true. Not tonight, but more often than not.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, joining us tonight. So this guy, I've known this guy since I first started creating content. His show was one of the first shows I had ever gone on as a content creator. He is currently the host of the Real Deal podcast, but he's done a ton of things in the industry. You can follow him on Twitter at what I always tell him is the worst Twitter handle ever. At Courtney110979. What's up, Courtney?
What's going on, fellas? Yes, you've been telling me to change it. It won't, for some reason, Twitter won't let me change it at all. I've been trying to change it forever, but now it's called X. It's hard to change your name. So, but appreciate being on the show, man. Ready for this. So definitely thanks for the invite.
Yeah, absolutely. First time on the show, I believe, right, Ryan?
Absolutely, first time.
Yeah, first time on the show. He is the host of the Absolute Auction podcast and writer for our friends over at FF Faceoff, who we've had Anthony on here multiple times. You can find him on Twitter at RyanMiner_FFB. What's up, man?
Not much, man. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. So give us a quick rundown for my listeners. What do you do with Absolute Auction podcast? What is it? And what do you do over at Faceoff?
So Absolute Auction podcast, I actually kicked it off last month. So we just finished our 5th episode back on Monday. And it's fantasy football auction content, 100%. But we don't do like the players and stuff. We do more logic and theory. So to kind of help you build strategies and understand different types of builds and that to get you to that next level, like to help you prepare for your draft and execute your draft and be happy with what you end up with as your final result.
Love it. So I've been in
First auction championship ever this year.
Dude, auctions are like a whole different breed of a fantasy football.
It really messed me up the first couple times. This is my first year where it clicked and I knew I was good and it went smoothly. So getting there, but something like that's huge, man. I really that's the kind of content we need for that.
Yeah,
like the best way to put it is you're like an NFL GM. Everyone has the same amount of money to spend on a team. You try to build that winning championship team. That's the best way I could put it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I've been doing fantasy football since 1996, and I have never done an auction draft. Every year, I'm like, I need to get into one of these auction drafts, but I just, for some reason, just have not pulled that trigger yet. So that might be coming soon.
If you have impulse control, it's not great. Which is why I like impulse control and like you like the live bet things. I feel like you may make some mistakes.
I see someone blow their whole entire auction money in 5 minutes.
Oof!
Wow.
And then they build nothing. Yeah, I was just like, that sucks, dude. Sorry to hear.
They're like trying to run up the price on people.
Yeah.
Courtney, tell us about the Real Deal podcast. I know you've been on the show a couple times, but it's been a while, so remind everybody out there.
Yeah, you can follow the show, The Real Deal with Courtney Harden, on all social podcast platforms. You know, it's on the BS3 network. That's the network where it's on. Roku channel, the BS3 network, Roku channel. And again, yeah, it's been good, man. Just been loading up with all the a lot of guests and each and every week. And we talk a little bit of everything on the show. We talk about fantasy football in general, NBA, boxing, whatever is WNBA, whatever's going on. That's what we do.
Good stuff, man. Yeah, you made a trip to the draft this year, didn't you?
Yeah. Went to the draft. No, not the draft. I was at the Super Bowl media row.
Right, the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl media row for the first time, and the network was there. Interviewed a lot of different people, from content creators to former athletes and things like that. It was a dream come true. So I would definitely do it again if we get picked. So if you get an opportunity, do that for sure.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and get into our nonsense draft for the night.
Attention, everyone. Let's mock draft.
All right, so tonight we are drafting fictional characters that we would like to see run for president. And Brian has already expressed his excitement over this draft. So I'm really curious to what direction he took. I'm sure I took a completely different direction than Ryan did. But Courtney, you got the 101, sir. So kick it off here. Who do you got as your fictional 101 for president?
When you sent this, I was like, okay, this is right up my alley. So I'm like, okay, I don't know what everybody else is going, what direction they're going in. And I had a hard time. So, okay, the pressure's on me to set this off. So fictional draft for president, I'm going with Obi-Wan from Star Wars as the number one pick. If you think about it, he's always, discussing his options and things like that, how to solve problems and all that. Very caring, he's patient, and he only resorts to violence when necessary. So, and he got those Jedi mind tricks too. So if anything goes haywire, and then he takes that last resort is violence. But yeah, Obi-Wan, I got to get him as number one.
Yeah, I love that. And as a huge Star Wars fan, Obi-Wan's always that. We talk about it a lot in fantasy football, where he's a guy that he's not the fastest, not the strongest. Yeah. He's just resourceful as hell, finds a way to get things done, and lived his full life just about. He obviously got killed at the end by Darth Vader, but he's able to find a way to survive through all the things that he did. So yeah, that would be a great option. I love that pick. Absolutely. All right, Ryan, you got the 102 here.
I feel like Foss and I are going to be going down the same type of alley here, as this draft goes.
Yeah.
It's a Ryan thing, people just won't understand us, but I was surprised. I was thinking he was going to go 101, but 102, I feel like this is still the draft. I'm going with John Wick because he has connections everywhere. He knows everyone. He's always one step, maybe two, possibly even 3 steps ahead of you. No matter how far ahead you think you are, you're always behind him. He knows what's going on every time. So, and who's going to mess with John Wick?
That is awesome, and that is right up Brian's alley for sure.
That's great.
All right, Foss, you got the 103 today. Actually, you know what? I got the 103. Usually you have the 103. So I'm going to take the 103 here. I'm thinking more like Courtney Harden here with his picks. And so my top pick, I'm going to go with Professor X, X-Men. Obviously he's leading a whole group of mutants, and he can read everyone's minds. Like, what else would you not want in a president, right?
Professor X is low-key shady, though.
He is a little low-key shady, but
he's real shady.
Aren't all presidents a little low-key shady that we've had?
I have a little bit of shadiness in being a president.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan, you got the 104.
I want to press say just anybody who's not collecting AARP yet, but we're gonna get serious here. We're gonna take Ron Swanson. He's a man of the people. He's been in politics, even though he hates it. He just wants people to live their best life. And are you doing? I'm taking Ron Swanson. We're being serious at first.
All right, I love it. All right, Courtney, back to you with the 201.
Man, Ryan, he picked. I was thinking of going that route too, with a couple, but I'm not gonna. I'll say it after this round. But I'm gonna go with Optimus Prime as my as my second pick. Think of it this way: no ego. He's compassionate, tough, humble, shows humility, always does things for the greater good, and he's always talking about peace. He's intelligent, and thinking when he came to Earth, he was trying to help the humans. He was trying to save humankind from everything too. Brings people together, and so when something needs to get done, who wouldn't want a 60-foot robot as president to get things done?
Yeah.
So I'm going with Optimus Prime from the Transformers as my 102 or my 201.
I love it. I actually had Prime on my list there. I thought for sure he would fall to me in this round here. Yeah, great pick there. All right, Ryan, you got the 202 here.
All right, it's time to get serious here. We're going to go with a character back from the 90s. We're going to go with Captain Planet.
He's our hero.
He's everyone's hero. The power is yours. Let's go.
I love it. You'll be all about the environment, that's for sure.
Exactly.
If you like them gasoline cars, man, he ain't for you.
Good stuff. All right, 203 for me. So I was sniped on the Optimus Prime one, so I was definitely going that route. So I'm going to go back to a TV show of the 90s. And, this was one of the, back in the 90s, you didn't have streaming. So you basically had to watch one of the 5 channels that you had on TV. And this was probably one of my favorite shows. Probably watched every episode. But I'm going with Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I mean, just obviously very intelligent. He was a lawyer. He kind of saw him through the whole show and how he was the father figure to Will Smith, and I just think he'd make a great president. That's for sure. So yeah, Uncle Phil is going to be my 203 here. All right, Ryan closes out with a little bit of craziness. I can see this.
I'm upset because I had 2 more picks. I had one who would be the perfect pick, but we're taking over the world with this one. It's going to be the U.S. only, and we're putting Stewie Griffin up there. He's a genius, just a little bit evil, but also shout out to the president from Independence Day.
Yes,
he'd bring us all together.
Yeah. I had him on. Well, that was good.
I felt like picking a president from something's cheating, though.
Yeah, you're right. Any honorable mentions, Courtney?
Yeah, I was. It's funny because the 101 was gonna either be Jason Bourne or Jack Bauer from 24. Right. So I was gonna go with either one of them because if you think about it, if you got either one of those guys, you're not gonna mess with them. So it's like they'll get it done. If you cross them, they'll just go out in the field and do what they have to do. So yeah, they were my honorable mentions.
Great stuff. What about you, Ryan? Any honorable mentions?
I got Wolverine and Deadpool. Two good superheroes that really don't. You got Deadpool who'll say whatever's on his mind at the time and have fun with it at the same time. So why not him? And then Wolverine, who's gonna mess with him?
Love it. What about you, Foss?
It was President of Independence Day, but
yeah,
I don't have another one.
I got a couple. I got Yoda. I was gonna go Yoda, but when Courtney went with Obi-Wan, I decided not to go with Yoda. And then my little bit more out there one, John McClane from the Die Hard movies would be another good one I'd like as well.
Yeah. Well, I do have one more. Jon Snow from Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, yeah.
He couldn't even get to be king, but man, he's a fair and righteous ruler.
Love it.
I also had Black Panther and Beast. When you did the X-Men and you said Professor X, it's like, well, Beast too. Beast actually was, he was Secretary of State, I think it was.
Yep.
So he worked right under the president. So there.
Black Panther ran a nation already.
Yeah, ran a nation. He was a king. Yeah. So yeah.
All right. So that is the nonsense draft. So I mentioned at the top of the show, we are doing I Hate division previews. Essentially, we're going to do the NFC East and the AFC East, and we're going to do mock drafts and essentially pick players only from those divisions, which it gets pretty ugly when you get into that second round. Especially, I think in the NFC East, we're going to have a hard time getting some some picks in there. But let's go ahead and hit the drop, and we'll get right into it.
Attention, everyone. Let's mock draft.
So I Hate Division Previews is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Check out their industry best ball leagues, huge tournament, private leagues, picks for all major sports. Sign up using our promo code GF2 and get bonus bucks up to $250. Simple as that. Use our promo code GF2 and start drafting some best balls. I'm already in a bunch of them now, so I'm putting some more out there. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll see them out there. So jump into some best balls and use promo code GF2 and get bonus bucks up to $250. So we're going to start at the NFC East. And just to put out there, we're doing a super flex draft. So quarterbacks are a little bit more valuable. And the 101 is going to you, Ryan. Who do you have as your 101 in super flex for the NFC East?
Ooh, 101 super flex. This is a tough one. But I'm going to play it safe. And I'm going to go with the surefire CeeDee Lamb.
Ooh. Oh. Nice. Not where I thought you were going to go, but I like it. I like it. CeeDee Lamb goes 101 here. All right, Courtney, you got the 102.
Well, that falls right into my wheelhouse. Thank you, Ryan. Jalen Hurts going with the QB, my QB1, Jalen Hurts. So he's my 102.
Yeah, I definitely thought he would go quarterback there at the 101.
I did too, because I was going to go CeeDee Lamb second. So
yeah.
for sure.
I'm not high on Jalen Hurts like most people are this year. I just see him kind of taking a step back with Saquon Barkley now being there.
Fair enough.
That's fair. Yeah.
All right, Foss, you got the 103 here.
I mean, it's Dak. He had the quietest QB3 season you could ask for fantasy, and not that much has changed there.
Yeah, that's definitely in Superflex. You got to go with
this is redraft, correct? Jamie mentioned in the comments.
Yes, redraft. Yes, this for the 2024 season. All right, so I have probably the worst pick in this draft being at the 104 because y'all took the obvious three choices there. Quarterbacks are Daniel Jones and Jaden Daniels. I'm not sure I want to go that high with either of those two guys. So looking at the running backs, obviously Saquon Barkley is there. And that's pretty much it. And then receivers, I can go A.J. Brown routes, Malik Neighbors if I want to go for upside. And tight ends, you can forget about it. So, this is tough. I guess for the 2024 season, I'm going to take Saquon Barkley here for the Eagles. I think he gets hurt a little bit in the touchdown spot, with Jalen Hurts being there. I think there's going to be some tush-push going on. But I think he's in a better offense with the best offensive line he's ever had in his career. The yards will be there. The receptions will be there. So I'll take Saquon Barkley at 104. Ryan, back to you at the 105.
See, haters are going to hate, but I'm going to like it. So this quarterback, he definitely didn't have the receivers that he needed last year. Now he has the addition of Malik Neighbors. They're actually putting more of a nucleus around him. I'm going with Daniel Jones. The injury took him out. Yeah, after he was recovering from his torn ACL. But I definitely see a nice bounce back from him here. So he's definitely the one quarterback that I didn't think was actually going to make it back to me, and happy to see him actually make it here to me.
Yeah, and he does have that rushing upside, which people tend to forget that a couple seasons ago he had a pretty decent season in the rushing category. So, yeah, I can see that in Superflex leagues making that jump. All right, Courtney, you got the 106 here.
I guess I'm going to be biased since he fell to me. A.J. Brown, going with him next. And A.J. Brown, arguably the best receiver in this division outside of CeeDee Lamb. You can go either way. A.J. Brown's going to have a monster year again because I think the Eagles are going to get back on track. With the new offensive coordinator, and they're going to just they got a competent offensive coordinator this time. So that collapse last year was a lot of different issues and things like that, but it definitely wasn't A.J. Brown's, none of his issues. So I think he'll definitely have over about 1,300 yards again. So I'm going A.J. Brown.
Good stuff. And for those that listen to this on the audio, Courtney is, of course, wearing an Eagles shirt. So the Homer bias.
Hey, I'm loading up my squad. They falling right to me, so hey, why not?
Got the stack already. Got it. This is Jalen Hurts, AJ
Yeah,
Brown.
Got the stack. Yep.
All right, Foss, you got the 107 here.
I can't believe A.J. Brown fell that far. Give me Jaden Daniels. I think the rushing upside and coming to an offense with those kind of weapons in your rookie is really nice. And we're talking super flex. we're probably like round 5 right now. I like him here.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels, that rushing upside for sure gives him the advantage there. And I knew when I passed on quarterback at the 104 that I would probably not get a quarterback because I knew those two would probably go in the next couple of picks. So obviously, there's only backups left, so I'm going to have to look elsewhere and just build my team with no quarterback here at the 108. Couple names I'm looking at. I don't know. His running backs are brutal. Like I want to say Austin Eckler, but I don't know how he's going to be this year. He really fell off last year. Devonta Smith still on the board, and Malik Neighbors is on the board. Tight ends, I'm not ready to pull that trigger yet. So I think I'm going to go with the upside of the rookie and go Malik Neighbors here. We've talked about it a ton on this podcast that there's not a big difference between him and Marvin Harrison Jr. I think he has a little bit more explosiveness than Marvin Harrison Jr. And I think if Dino Jones can have that bounce back season that Ryan is hoping he has, I think Malik Neighbors is a huge part of that. So give me Malik Neighbors here at the 108. And back to you, Ryan.
Surprisingly, and I thought he was actually already going to be off the board, and I'm going to go with Devonta Smith. Still borderline wide receiver 1 in Dynasty. He's still a high-end wide receiver 2 in redraft here. So to get him right now, I'm actually liking how this team's shaping up minus the running back.
Yeah, it's a great pick, and it was definitely between him and Neighbors for my pick. He has that wide receiver 1 upside, and if AJ Brown, God forbid, was to go and get hurt, he would step into that a huge role. And even with AJ Brown there, he's been borderline wide receiver 1, a wide receiver 1 pretty much his whole career. So, I love that pick there. All right, Courtney, you couldn't get your other Eagle there. So where are you going here with the 110?
I think I'm going to go running back here. I'm going to go with Brian Robinson, actually.
Ooh.
I think he's going to actually get more carries than Austin Eckler. I think he's going to be the running back 1, and Eckler will get the, third down, I believe. But Brian Robinson is a great pass catcher himself and had a pretty good year. So I'm going to go with Brian Robinson.
Yeah, I like that pick, and I like that you passed on Austin Eckler because I'm not convinced that Eckler isn't washed. Honestly, I think if we looked last year, I think there was a video that came out on TikTok that showed Austin Eckler last season, running a breakaway run, and he hit I think 22 miles an hour or whatever it was, and then at the end of last season he had a breakaway run where he was caught from behind, and he was only running like 12 or 13 miles an hour, so huge drop off. So there's a good chance that he could be washed. So I like that pick there. All right, Foss, you got the 111.
Dude, just give me that 120 targets, 1,000-yard guarantee. Give me Terry McLaurin.
Bastard, he sniped me. I was hoping he'd fall one more pick. I was like, he's holding on to him.
There's a nice little drop off after him.
There absolutely is.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at here. So I have the back-to-back picks. So there's a couple things I can do here. I can pretty much eliminate the quarterbacks. I'm not going to take any chances on Trey Lance or Marcus Mariota or Kenny Pickett or anything like that. So I think the best player that is still on the board right now that's going to have fantasy value is going back to that Eagles offense. I'll take Dallas Goedert here at the 112. And then kicking off the second round at the 201. This is where you really got to start punting some people. I think I'm going to take. So I've already taken Saquon Barkley. I'm going to take. Do I want to go a running back? Yeah, I'll take the running back that's essentially taking Saquon Barkley's space in New York. Devin Singletary. He's solid. He's not otherworldly. He's not great, but he will get the workload there as long as he can stay healthy. So give me Devin Singletary at the top of the second round in the 201. Back to you, Foss, and good luck with this draft board.
Whaley be the best tight end for this division with Jake Ferguson. We got 100 targets last year, probably going to have another 100 plus this year. And young and improving.
Yeah, and a very good offense, and he's a touchdown player as well. So that's a really good pick there. And I thought about him. I couldn't bring myself to go back to back.
Almost the exact same stats as Trey McBride, who's going number 2 in Dynasty ADP right now.
Yeah, good point.
A year older. It's going to be Jake Ferguson summer for me.
We are moving right along here, Ryan. We are up to you at the 203.
Now this one's for my RB truthers. So if you really believe this, then you're definitely going to love it. So Tony Pollard left this backfield, and there was 43. He had 43 red zone attempts. He only converted 4 of them in for touchdowns. I can see this running back possibly having that same type of touch category, and I'm going with Zeke Elliott here. Welcome back.
Yeah, that's a great pick there. He's definitely catching a lot of heat because he's gotten up there in age, but that workload is going to be there because there's literally no one else on that team that can get that workload. So, and you mentioned the red zone carries. Zeke will convert some of those because he still has that ability to find the end. All right, Courtney, you are up at the 204 here.
Well, since no one picked him, I'm going to go with Austin Eckler. And, if Brian Robinson gets injured, Eckler gets all those touches. So, and I still feel like he can still be somewhat of a threat, but I'm going to go with Eckler. He'll get something. So,
yeah, at this point here, I think Eckler's value is too hard to pass up.
Yeah.
Even if he is what I think he's washed, I think there's still some usage that you can get out of him. So he can still catch passes out of the backfield, even if he, isn't as fast as he once was or explosive as he once was. If he can catch 60 passes, then he's still going to be good in fantasy. All right. I am on the clock, and it is pretty ugly right now. I'm going to go with a guy that I think can have a bounce back season. We loved this guy. Me and Ryan both did. Love this guy as a rookie. He had a really good
Jahan Dotson, isn't it?
Jahan Dotson. Yeah, Jahan Dotson. Sure. I think he can have a bounce back season with a much better quarterback this year. So I'll take Dotson here at the 205. All right, Foss. Did I snipe you on that one? Is that who you were going to go with?
It was, my heart versus my brain. My brain's telling me, just take Brandon Cooks. He's wide receiver 2 in Dallas on a good offense. And we've seen him produce no matter what. So give me Cooks. But yeah, I wanted to my heart wanted to just talk about Dotson and how I still believed. But I'm glad you did it.
All right, good stuff. Ryan, you're at the 207.
Oh, this is a tough one. I don't even know where to go from this point on because there's just nothing there that it's just vomit. And there's a nice way to say,
Vomit.
Vomit.
I'm going to get a t-shirt that says that. It's just vomit.
It's just vomit.
But I hate this pick. I don't want to make this pick, but for redraft, since we're starting right now, I know he'll start now, but I know he's going to be done soon. But I'm going to go with Zach Ertz on this one. I just feel like he's going to start the season out first few weeks, and then Sanat will take over.
Yeah, what's funny is I had that same narrative for him last season. I thought Fred McBride would take over, and he did eventually, but only because Zach Ertz got hurt. But Zach Ertz was actually pretty good in those first few weeks before he got hurt. I thought for sure he had that injury. He was traded. I was like, there's no way. But sure enough, Zach Ertz still found a way to produce. So, yeah, he could definitely give you a couple good weeks here. All right, Courtney, 208.
Oh, starting to get slim pickings here, man. There's a couple people, but I'm gonna go with Kenneth Gainwell. He, for some reason, he always on the field. If you watch the Eagles closer like I do, this man, he's just always on the field and he produces. For the most part, he was one of Jalen Hurts' favorite weapons too. So catches out of the backfield. So, but yeah, I'm gonna go with Kenneth Gainwell.
All right, I love that pick. All right, let's see. I'm on the clock here at the 209. This is my last pick of the draft. I'm going to go with a guy that I've been getting a ton in my rookie drafts, and a couple times I've gotten him as a undrafted free agent rookie. Hoping, I took Devin Singletary in that top of the second round. I'll take the guy that's behind him on the depth chart. He's fast and he has some wiggle. Tyrone Tracy, not a name that a lot of people have heard unless you play Dynasty, but he's a guy that I'm looking at to potentially overtake Devin Singletary. I think he's a little bit more talented, at least physically more talented than Devin Singletary is. Can he put together? That remains to be seen, but I think at this point I'm just betting on upside, so I'll take him here at 209. Foss, this is your last pick. What you got?
I love that pick, by the way. We were just talking about him on the show last night. God, you can't stop, man. I'm just doing it. Give me Jalen Hyatt. Pull the Band-Aid off. Deep threat with the middle wide open with Neighbors. And I'm going to pretend in my heart this is best ball. He's going to give me 3 good games.
3 good games. That's what you need. All right. All right, Ryan. Last pick here, 211. What you got?
I like this running back. I've always liked this running back, but I like his opportunity behind the main one. And I'm going to go with Will Shipley here behind Saquon Barkley. Yeah. I think he's going to have a nice pass catching opportunity. I like his upside. He won't be like an in-between the tackler type runner, but definitely will be more of the pass catcher. Could be more of a dump-off guy for Jalen Hurts here.
Yeah, absolutely. And God forbid, there's injuries in that backfield. And let's face it, I mean, the Eagles have always been a running back by committee offense anyway. So he could find his way on the field and do some things. Love it. All right, Courtney, round us out here at the 212. What you got?
Man, just like Ryan said, this is all about vomit now. So I think I'm going to go Darius Slayton. He's reliable. And if Neighbors doesn't, if you need someone that can be a reliable receiver, I think he will be the guy, second or third receiver for Daniel Jones. So I'm going to go with Darius Slayton.
I love it. All great picks there. That second round got pretty ugly, though. I know some of these it gets really shallow really quick, but great drafting, fellas. To break it up, so we're not just jumping right into the AFC East. We're going to do a couple comparison prop bets here. So let me go ahead and hit the drop.
Prop bet of the week.
All right. So what I did is I went on to DraftKings and I looked at a couple of futures prop bets. And took some guys that are either in the AFC East or the NFC East that were pretty similar in their projections, and did a either or, like which one do you think is going to have more of whatever in 2024. And we'll just kind of alternate these. We'll start off with most passing yards in 2024. Ryan, this one's for you. Jaden Daniels or Daniel Jones? Which of those two do you like better to have more passing yards?
I'm going to go with Daniel Jones here. I almost said Daniel Jaden. I don't know why I was going to say that, but just the way I was looking at it, I was like, wait, nope, don't want to say that. But Daniel Jones is who I think is. Yeah.
So you're going Daniel Jones here. Any reason why you take Daniel Jones over Jaden Daniels?
Just because Jaden Daniels last season, I mean, yeah, he had a really great season, but he took a lot of sacks last year. And being at the NFL level now, I think he could take even more sacks than what Daniel Jones has taken already. So that's the only reason why I think he could have more passing yards. I think Jaden Daniels is an injury waiting to happen.
Fair enough. Floss, let me ask you the same question. Jaden Daniels or Daniel Jones? Who do you like here to have more passing yards?
Dude, I was going to originally say Jaden Daniels, but he brought up him getting sacked. It's not even he gets sacked. That man takes huge hits in college. He didn't. You can look. They have like highlight reels of him just taking monster hits, and now at it when DBs are 215. It's gonna be real hard surviving the season.
Yeah, that's a good call. All right, Courtney, anything you want to add to that? Jaden Daniels, Daniel Jones, anyone?
No, I think Daniel Jones will have more yards too. I think it's if he can stay healthy, I think that's the big if. If he stays healthy, I think Daniel Jones will have more yards than Jaden Daniels.
For what it's worth, DraftKings is taking Jaden Daniels to have more passing yards. They have him at 3,100, and they got Daniel Jones at 2,900. So,
total. I think it was total yards. I believe Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, if it was total yards, 100%.
700 rushing yards really add to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed. All right, next one here. We'll go to you first, Courtney, this time. Most passing touchdowns. These two quarterbacks from the East, one from the NFC East, one from the AFC East. Dak Prescott or Josh Allen? More passing touchdowns. What you got?
This one's actually tough. With Josh Allen losing a couple of his main weapons, I'm gonna still stick with Josh Allen because I still feel like I think the Bills, as much as they've lost, they're going to probably play a lot of two tight end, and they still got. I mean, they're good. He's going to make all the other receivers much better. Josh Allen is just that good, and I feel like Dak is going to take a step back a little bit too. So I'm gonna go with Josh Allen. That's the most passing touchdowns this year.
All right. Foss, what about you here? What you got? Dak Prescott or Josh Allen? More passing touchdowns?
I think this is that total versus passing thing. I think if it was total touchdowns, I'd agree with Allen, but I think Dak's going to throw it in more where Josh will take off and run.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Ryan, round us out here. You're the tiebreaker. We got one for each. Which one you going with?
I'm with Ryan on this one, man. Josh Allen might have the total touchdowns, but for sure Dak Prescott will have the passing. Because who is Josh Allen passing to?
Yeah,
okay, that's it.
Okay.
Coleman.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Dak Prescott as well, because we talked about Zeke earlier, and Zeke is not the Zeke of old. They're gonna be passing the ball a ton this year, so I think Dak Prescott realistically have 600 plus passing attempts this year. So I'll take him over Josh Allen for passing touchdowns. Total touchdowns, give it to Josh Allen, but just
Do we think he can lead the league in pass attempts this year?
I 100%.
Like a legit Dak could lead the league in pass attempts.
Yep, I agree 100%. I think he could. All right, let's move to receivers here, and Foss, we'll go to you first this time. Most receiving yards in 2024. We got Jalen Waddle or Garrett Wilson.
Give me Garrett Wilson. He balled out last year with a hodgepodge of backups. If Aaron Rodgers is there, absolutely. Even without him, I think his target share and what he gets on a consistent basis gets him there. Waddle's still the wide receiver too, and competing with Hill. Like he's a little bit too hit or miss. I'm gonna pick Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson, good choice. Kyle in the chat said he's got for the Dak Prescott thing. He's got Dak at 30 touchdowns and Josh Allen at 26. And I think DraftKings is pretty close. DraftKings had Dak at 30, and I think it had Allen at 27 and a half. So Kyle's a little bit lower, but yeah, it's a pretty close projection there. All right, Courtney, what you got for your receiving yards here? Jalen Waddle or Garrett Wilson?
I agree with Foss. I think it's going to be Garrett Wilson. And if Aaron Rodgers is healthy, the last time we seen Aaron Rodgers, he was playing MVP football when he was healthy. So, and we felt like Garrett Wilson was going to have that breakout year. He still had 1,000 yards last season, just over 1,000 yards with bad quarterback play. So, can you imagine he could get at least between 1,300 and 1,400? So, I'm going to go with Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, bad quarterback play is being nice there, Courtney.
Incompetent quarterback play. How about that?
Absolutely. All right, Ryan, you going to sweep it? You going Garrett Wilson or Jalen Waddle here?
I'm going to change it up, man. I'm going Jalen Waddle on this one. Just because he had the injury ups and downs last season. But when he played more than 50% of the games, he averaged like over 15 PPR points. And not to mention, since 2021, he's had over 350 targets. And the combination of him and Tyreek Hill has one of the best wide receiver duo over the last 3 years also. So, and if anything ever happens to Hill, it's up and up for Jalen Waddle on that one.
Yeah, and the thing with Garrett Wilson is he will see double teams, and I don't know if Jalen Waddle will because Tyreek Hill is going to be there drawing those double teams away, and the Miami offense lets it pass the ball. So I think I do lean Garrett Wilson just slightly. And DraftKings had Garrett Wilson, I think, literally a 50-yard difference over Jalen Waddle. I'm taking Garrett Wilson just because Aaron Rodgers, when he has his receiver, throws to his receiver no matter what. Like he kind of just says, "I'm gonna give my guy the opportunity no matter what happens," and he finds a way to give him the ball. There was a play back when he was with the Packers, and they went to Devontae Adams on 3 straight goal line plays in the end zone. The exact same play repeated 3 times. He threw the ball to Devontae Adams all 3 times and finally scored. I think that becomes Garrett Wilson this year, where he's just going to go to him no matter what. So I'll go Garrett Wilson here. All right, let's do receiving touchdowns. And I mixed it up a little bit here. Threw a tight end in the mix, Ryan. Dalton Kincaid or Terry McLaurin with more receiving touchdowns in 2024?
That's a fun one because Terry McLaurin's averaged 5 touchdowns over the last few years. So he's not really putting a high bar up there. But I'm gonna go with Dalton Kincaid on this one. I feel like Josh Allen, Dalton Kincaid is gonna be like the East Side version of Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce here this season. So give me Kincaid on that one.
Yeah, I like that. And their projections are very, very close because of that reason. McLaurin's never been a touchdown guy. Foss, what about you? Dalton Kincaid, Terry McLaurin.
I get to be Kincaid back a bit. Like if we're talking Josh Allen's getting the 26 to 30 touchdowns, Kincaid's getting double digits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
throwing them too, exactly. Courtney, I see you shaking your head or nodding your head. You agree?
Yeah, I agree. I think that's going to be Josh Allen's target, his favorite target, and he's going to pepper Kincaid. Although, so yeah, at least 10 touchdowns, I think, for Kincaid.
Yep, I agree with you. All right, last one here, Courtney. Most rushing yards, Brees Hall or your boy Saquon Barkley?
I'm going to go with Brees Hall having the more rushing yards, only for the simple fact of the threat of Jalen Hurts still getting a lot of those rushing yards. And, Saquon, yeah, he can break out anytime, but, but it's one of those things where Brees Hall's going to get all those opportunities. And, if Jalen Hurts is healthy, he's going to still run the football. They're still going to use his legs. So I'm going to go with Brees Hall.
All right. Foss, Brees Hall, Saquon Barkley. Who you got?
Dude, Brees Hall was like just getting warmed up last year, and he looked elite. I think that offense is gonna start through him. Protect Rodgers coming back, and he had 220 carries in not a full season. He's a monster. So is Barkley, but I'm leaving him. And the Eagles, they like that fuckery and putting in Kenneth
Yes.
Gainwell and some random people.
Yes.
They hate the fantasy community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll throw for the first 2 quarters, they'll throw at least 25 times. They'll just keep throwing the football, and they just say, "Oh, we got a good running back, but yeah, we're gonna just at the game plan, we're just gonna throw." The ratio be like 40 attempts to 10 rushes. Like, yeah, so yeah, I can see
We'll do that.
that.
All right, Ryan, what you got here?
Man, give me Brees the Beast on this one. I can't say anything more than what the other two have already said. He's got that upside on him. I can't pass it up.
Yeah, I think if this was total yards, I might lean Saquon Barkley. But I can literally see Saquon Barkley not having 1,000-yard rushing season, but still have 1,700 yards total. Whereas Brees Hall, I think, gets 1,000 easy. So I do.
You know what's crazy about that? Brees led the league in receiving yards for running backs last year.
Really, that's
At 591. Like, dude, he's gonna be a monster year. I said he might be RB1 this year. Like, that's the realm.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. All right, so that is our prop bets of the week. Let's go ahead and jump into our AFC East draft.
Attention, everyone. Let's mock draft.
All right, Ryan, you did not go quarterback in the last one. You got the 101 here. Are you going quarterback here?
Oh, man, there's one good wide receiver I really love on the board right now, so I can't pass him up. But no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going here with Josh Allen. I can't pass that up. That's just the easy 101. I mean, 15 rushing touchdowns. I can see him having that rushing upside again. The passing upside, I mean, if Kyle's right and he can somehow get double-digit touchdowns again, he still has opportunity to finish as the QB1 once again.
Yep. Yeah, he would be hard to pass up for sure. He is, I think, pretty clear-cut to the 101 in Superflex leagues if you're doing startups right now. So, yeah, Josh Allen, 101. No surprise there. Courtney, you got the 102.
102, I'm going with Tyreek Hill. I mean, this guy he's a threat to get that 2,000 yards as a receiver. So if he if he just could stay healthy, I don't know if he would have got it because he was like 200 yards short, 201 yards short or something like that. So, but he put up monster numbers, and with that offense so wide open, I got to go with Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, great pick there. Two solid choices. Foss, you got the 103.
Well, I just made the bold statement saying Brees Hall could be the RB1, so let's just keep going.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Brees Hall at the 103, which leaves me with the quarterback. I get to draft a quarterback this time. I didn't get to do it last round, but I will.
Don't do it, you coward.
I will take Tua Tagovailoa here. Last year I was on record saying that I thought he could go and be the MVP of the league last year. He was on pace to that until about midseason where they kind of fell off. I don't know if that's going to be a trend because it was the same way the year before where he kind of had a hot start and finished slowly. If he can put together a whole season, I think he could be in that conversation at least. But I'll take Tua here at the 104. Ryan, you got the 105.
Man, and this is funny because we were just talking about, more receiving yards in 2024, and I went Jalen Waddle. But at this one, I feel like Garrett Wilson still being there. I'm gonna take Garrett Wilson in this one just to change it up a little bit. Yeah, I'm a truther in the receiving yards for Waddle, but I think Wilson has a more touchdown upside.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Dolphins love to run the ball in the red zone too much, and they'll have most are getting 15, 16 touchdowns again.
Yeah.
So I like Garrett Wilson here for sure. Courtney, you got the 106.
Man, a couple good options here, but I'm gonna go Dalton Kincaid here. I know I could have went Waddle, but I'm gonna get my tight end, as we just said. He has a potential to get 10 plus touchdowns, so I'm gonna go with Kincaid.
Yeah, and the positional scarcity in this division at tight end. I mean, it's Dalton Kincaid and then a bunch of has-beens and bums. So you get the only tight end that's really fantasy viable here at the 106. I love it. Foss, you got the 107.
Give me Rodgers. If he's healthy, he's gonna ball.
I love that analysis. If he's healthy, he's going to ball.
Like it's not complicated. It's a good team.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. So I will pull the trigger here, Ryan. I know you were thinking you might get your guy anyway. I'm going to snipe you and take Jalen Waddle here.
Mm-hmm.
In that high-powered offense that loves to pass, he did deal with some injuries last year, but I do think that as long as he stays healthy, an easy 1,000-yard season plus is in the books, and he's eventually, I think, going to take over the receiver one position in Miami, but not this year. But I think even as a receiver two, he's still worth a first-round pick in this division. All right, Ryan, what you got here?
All right, I'm gonna flip the script a little bit. I'm gonna go with a running back on this one that I like a lot. I was even high on him last season, and I'm gonna go with Devon Achane here. High power offense. Yeah, they tend to run the ball a lot, but they split the backfield. But when Achane was healthy, he was definitely on the field more, and what killed him was the injury. And I think this is definitely going to be a nice bounce back year for him.
Yeah, Achane for sure has that upside. I mean, he's like the epitome of upside, right? Like you can get that 50-point game, but that injury bug, he's got to stay healthy for sure. All right, Courtney, you're here at the 110.
I'm gonna go Raheem Mostert here. I think with them splitting with Achane, I think they're gonna split the carries once again. And Mostert led the league with 21 touchdowns and surpassed 1,000 yards for his first time in his career. So I'm gonna go with Raheem Mostert.
Yeah, the old guy doing it still. Yeah. He's been a revelation, right? I mean, he's 50 years old and still doing it the way he's been doing it. So yeah, great. Yeah. All right, Foss, your last pick here in the first round at the 111.
I want to take two guys, and I don't think the one's going to fall. I think he'll follow me, but I'm trying to make a point here. I'm taking Andre Stevenson. Follow the money. Like, he got paid with a new regime. He's had a ton of touches for having minimal, for playing 12 games. He showed 43 targets last year and 100. Sorry, I was on the wrong thing. I'm saying he's still got a ton of volume last year for a minimal game. I kind of think he's bouncing back. They wouldn't have paid him if they didn't believe it. I wanted James Cook, but I have a little bit of fear that we saw his ceiling.
Yeah, that's a good call. I like Ramondre Stevenson. That's who I would have gone with there as well. But I will take the guy you just mentioned, James Cook. Maybe he hit his ceiling already, but I think we didn't see a full season with that offensive coordinator, what they were doing last year. If you look between when they fired the offensive coordinator and James Cook became sort of the focal point of their offense, I'm hoping to see that for a full season to see what he can do this year, because he was pretty good down the stretch there. Still loses those goal line touches to Josh Allen a little bit, but I think overall he can still be
I don't know if he's going to get many goal line touches at all this year.
Yeah, you're probably right, because he wasn't very good at it, but I'll still take James Cook at the 112 for sure. Yeah. And then to kick off the second round here, I will just stamp my flag on this guy. I've talked about him enough. Jamie's in the chat, so he's going to give me shit for it. But Keon Coleman, I think he has the potential to be number 2 in targets on this team behind probably Dalton Kincaid. People give him a little bit of flack because he had some drops in college, but he's a big receiver. He's physical. He will be a red zone threat. He didn't, he's not the fastest receiver out there, but when you're big and physical, you don't necessarily have to be the fastest guy. We've seen that plenty of times with guys like Brandon Marshall and stuff that have kind of done it in their careers, and I think Keon Coleman fits that mold. So I'll take Coleman here at the 201. And back to you, Foss, at the 202.
Gosh, did that cliff just hit?
Yes, it did.
Like
Yeah.
I just feel like Wile E. Coyote right now. My legs spinning in the air. Oh shit. Give me Khalil Shakir.
Ah,
We saw flashes last year, and he could be the high volume guy in the slot for them.
Yeah, he's been one I've been kind of predicting to break out here for a couple of years, and he had a pretty decent season last year. Nothing to write home about, but we saw enough flashes that now given a greater opportunity, could really flash. So I like that pick. Ryan, you got the 203.
this is a scary one. It's a hard pick, and I don't know if I like it, but I kind of do in a weird way. And I'm going to go with Pop Douglas on this one.
Any reason you like Pop Douglas over the other plethora of receivers there?
Just because, like, God damn, what's that receiver in Vegas right now? I can't even think of his name. Jacoby Myers.
Jacoby Myers, yeah.
Yeah. Pop Douglas and Jacoby Myers basically had the same type of season last year, like comparing New England seasons. And that's what I like about it. What I hate about it is Kendrick Bourne's there, Jalen Polk's there, Javon Baker's there. Like, that's the thing I hate, and not knowing what's going to happen with it. But he's definitely one wide receiver I still think has the upper hand on all the other New England wide receivers.
Yeah, that New England sort of receiving core is very similar to like what it was last year in New York Giants, where it's like there's just a bunch of guys that are all kind of doing the same thing. They're not really, and Pop Douglas, I think, is the one guy on that team that can have a little bit of volume, be a PPR guy, and had a pretty good season last year. So yeah, I like that pick there. I think I would have gone Pop Douglas as well over those other receivers. Courtney.
Well, I guess I better get my quarterback. So Drake May. So I mean, he's the last of the quarterbacks. So I'm gonna go with Drake May.
Any worry? And I put Jacoby Brissett on the show sheet there, but any worry that Drake May is not the starter week 1? I know there's been rumors about that happening.
Yeah, it's a big worry, but I think Drake May he'll definitely because New England's gonna be terrible. So he's gonna be playing probably by week 5 or 6 if he doesn't start the season.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think at some point he's your starter.
Yeah.
All right, it is pretty ugly right now. I'm just going to mention a couple guys that I'm looking at. Antonio Gibson is in there with the receiving potential in that backfield. Curtis Samuel, who had a decent season last year, still on the board. The aforementioned Jalen Polk, who has upside. Hunter Henry was mentioned in the chat. He's a potential tight end that I could take here. But I think ultimately I'm going to lean on that Buffalo Bills offense and the fact that all those receivers have gone. We've already taken Keon Coleman. Khalil Shakir is already gone. Give me Curtis Samuel, who's really the only one of those 3 guys that have a proven track record of actually doing it in the NFL. Had a good season last year, so I will take Curtis Samuel here at the 205. Foss, you got the 206.
I thought you were sniping me there. I was not getting upset. I'm taking Ray Davis for the Bills. He's the reason I'm a little bit nervous about James Cook. He is a little fire hydrant at 5'8", 211. Like, he can get behind the line, push, and get into the red zone. I think he's going to get that short yardage and kind of between the tackles work.
Yeah, I like Ray Davis a lot. And the fact that they drafted him, I think, does put some pressure on James Cook as well. So great call there. All right, Ryan, you're up here at the 206.
I'm going with the running back here again. I'm going with Braylon Allen, just because he's backing up Breece Hall. If anything has happened to Breece Hall, I feel like Braylon Allen could be a good RB2 for your fantasy team if anything is to happen to. God bless. I hope not. Nothing ever happens to Breece Hall, but if anything does,
yep,
Braylon Allen is the one with the upside.
And it could be a situation too that because I've heard some good things in camp where they actually use Braylon Allen a little bit more than we expect them to with Breece Hall to keep Breece Hall healthy. So there's a chance that he's got some standalone value. Not much, because I think Breece Hall gets a huge workload, but there's a chance you could use him in spots if you had to. But I do like Braylon Allen as a handcuff.
Top end handcuff. Like, as good as you can get. Like, RB1 potential week in, week out handcuff.
Yeah.
Agreed. All right, Courtney, you got the 208 here.
Well, he was talked about earlier, so I'm gonna go with Hunter Henry here. Might as well stack my tight ends up, and at this bottom of the draft, why not just use Hunter Henry?
Yeah, Henry's a good touchdown guy too, so
Yeah,
that's a good call. And the tight ends are like we mentioned earlier, it's pretty ugly at the tight end position. So Hunter
yeah.
best of the best available at the moment. All right, I'm up at the 209. A couple guys I had mentioned earlier are still on the board. Antonio Gibson's still sitting there. Jalen Polk is still sitting there. Jalen Wright also sitting there, running back for the Dolphins. I think I'm going to lean Jalen Polk here just for the upside. There's the potential that he ends up being the receiver one there. We've heard some good things in camp said about him. He was the higher of the two drafted receivers this year. So they obviously believe in him. If he can sort of create some chemistry with either Jacoby Brissett or Drake May, I think he can have a good season. I don't expect huge things from him, but he has the opportunity at least, and that's all we're looking for in fantasy is opportunity. So give me Jalen Polk here at the 209. Foss, your last pick here into 210.
I mean, I feel like this dude's just fantasy stock he just got the chair kicked out from under him. But a new situation, a new quarterback, if healthy, Aaron Rodgers. Mike Williams has that 10 touchdown upside. I know it's a long shot, but dude, if he clicks, we've seen the flashes before.
Absolutely.
I'm cool taking him here.
Yeah, it's a great upside pick for sure because we have seen flashes. I mean, there was a time, I believe 2 seasons ago, where through 6 weeks he was the receiver one in fantasy, having some monster seasons, and then the Chargers just forgot he existed and he disappeared for like the next 10 weeks. But yeah, Mike Williams 100% is a great upside play right here. All right, Ryan, your last pick at the 211.
Oh man, this is gross. not as bad as the NFC East, but it's just as bad. But I'm gonna go a late round player that I actually like if you're passing on tight ends super late, this is one I definitely like going after. And I'm going with Tyler Conklin on this. For the last 3 years, he's had 87 targets. If Aaron Rodgers is back to old Aaron Rodgers form, Conklin could easily pop into low end, tight end one at the start of September here. So who knows how that's going to pan out? If it pans out like that, I mean, he's gonna be a waiver wire pick. I feel like more than anything, but Tyler Conklin for me.
Yeah, I like it. Tyler Gronklin is his nickname. So yeah, I like it.
Somebody needs smack for giving him that nickname.
Yeah, exactly. I just saw it on the sheet and like, oh, you know what? We're just gonna go with that.
That's so disrespectful, Jesus.
All right, Courtney, round out the AFC East here with the last pick, 212.
Well, Foss sniped me with Mike Williams. I thought he was gonna fall. He kept falling and falling. So I'm gonna go with Kendrick Bourne just to round it out. I mean, Drake May's got to throw to somebody, and Kendrick Bourne in 3 or 4 receiver sets should get some targets. So he's a veteran too. So I'm gonna go with Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah, Kendrick Bourne's gonna be that guy in that offense that if you're owner of Pop Douglas or Jalen Polk or even Javon Baker, that's just gonna annoy the crap out of you, right? He's not gonna be fantasy relevant, but he's going to take away enough touches from those guys that are a little bit more fantasy relevant just to piss you off. That's what's going to be like Kendrick Bourne's role.
Yeah. Yep.
100%. All right, fellas, that wraps up the AFC East, and it wraps up the show for tonight. I want to thank you both for coming on tonight. Courtney, of course, been on the show multiple times, and I've known him now. It's been almost 9 years since I've, first went on his show. And Ryan, your first time, so we got a big contrast here. Appreciate it. You did a great job. We'll go around the room real quick. Give us your Twitter handle where we can follow you at, where we can find your stuff at, anything you want to plug. We'll go to you first, Ryan.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter or X, however you want to call it, Ryan Minor _ FFB. You can find all my work over at Faceoff Sports Network at fffaceoff.com. And you can catch us on usually Monday nights. Actually, we'll be doing a live auction draft for Absolute Auction on YouTube.
Good stuff. Courtney?
You can find me on that long Twitter handle at Courtney110979. You can find the show, the Real Deal at Get the Real Deal on Twitter. And like I said, The Real Deal with Courtney Harden. The main show airs on Saturdays on the BS3 Network.
Good stuff. And Foss?
Find me on Twitter, Foss534. Find me here every Wednesday night. Find me over at the Rookie Big Board, the Dynasty Big Board podcast Wednesday mornings.
Good stuff. And as always, guys, you can find me on Twitter at JeffLambert77. Just recently finished my Scott Fishbowl draft, so you can go check out my roster. I've posted it on my Twitter page, so go check it out. You'll be surprised when you see who my first round pick is. It was a kicker. I took a kicker at the 112, but I did.
Another in a long line of non-playoff years.
Yes, so I did raffle off my first round pick. I made about $400 on doing it. And as Ryan just alluded to, I have never made the playoffs in the Scott Fishbowl. I've been in since SFB 8, and I've never made the playoffs. So I figured, you know what, I'll raffle off my first round pick. And I did make an announcement at my live draft that if I make the playoffs this year by drafting a kicker in the first round, that I will guarantee to draft a kicker in the first round next year. So we'll see if that happens or not. But for Courtney, for Ryan, and for Foss, I'm Jeff. Thank y'all once again, and we will see y'all next week.